Well, let's take a look at see what's been happening with the markets. Oil prices have been hovering around two-month lows today. Concerns over growth in the world's second biggest economy, China, and rising interest rates globally, not just here, weighing on prices. Investors are also concerned about fresh COVID-19 restrictions in China. Global markets, including the JSE, were down. So I want to bring in Brian Thomas. He's the portfolio manager at Laurium Capital. Brian, thanks indeed for talking to us. There's still a lot of nerves out there, and almost 3 years on, we still have COVID-19 weighing on markets in some shape or form. We were just talking about high interest rates, and I suppose that's another downer all over the globe. Is that what is keeping markets a bit reserved as we go on, those interest rates and possible COVID-19 restrictions?
Yeah, we think today that the constraining factor on the market is probably the oil price. The oil price, as you said, is down almost 5% today. Actually, it went down more than 5% at some point. And it's pulled some of the other commodities down with it. So the likes of platinum down 5% too. So our market is a pretty resource-heavy market. And it's actually the resource counters, the guys that are exposed to the likes of platinum and to oil that have taken the pain today. They're actually the domestic South Africa component of our market. So the companies that really dance to the heartbeat of what goes on in South Africa, and I'm thinking about the retailers and some of the financial institutions and some of the telcos, actually have done reasonably well on the market today. Most of them up and decently up too.
Yeah. If you look at some of the results coming out today, and you would see that effect on their share price. Let's talk about Astral. That's the poultry producer. With some impressive profits today, and it's interesting to see that Astral continues to flag rising costs and also dysfunctional municipalities as a risk going forward, including power cuts.
Yes, well, I think all companies in South Africa are facing the power issues at the moment. It's pretty acute for a company like Astral, but they've managed pretty well. They're quite integrated in the way that they do their chickens, which means basically they provide the food into the chicken stock. And actually, they've been able to grow margins this year, which has been very impressive in a constrained time. So if I look at their numbers, the revenues of their biggest division, which is the broilers or chicken division, growing just over 22%, and their costs of growing those chickens up 11%, which means that they've widened margin. And I think they've been able to do it in two key areas. One, the quick service restaurants that they've supplied chicken to. And then secondly, fresh chicken has been a big growing market for them, and they've capitalized on that. So they've been able to pass on a few of those costs to the consumer, but obviously not all of them.
And then, Brian, numbers are today as well from cement maker PPC. Their revenue is up, but like many others, they're hoping that government gets this infrastructure plan in full swing.
Yes, indeed. PPC, a cement manufacturer, is in a very, very competitive space. Yeah. There are a number of cement companies in the country at the moment that are producing cement, and all hoping for exactly the same thing, a construction boom that would help sales. So very dependent on government contracts and government expenditure in the capital formation in the country for PPC going forward.
And just as I let you go, Brian, another company out today with numbers and is linked to the economy in some shape or form, Barloworld. I see they separating their listing of the vehicle renting units, and it's going to be interesting because, there's a direct impact coming from tourism there.
Yeah, so they'll spin off their Avis rental-car business. It's going to be called Zeda. Zeda. So firstly, nice to see a new company listed on the JSE. And as you so correctly mentioned, it will give us a very good steer on tourism into the country and also internal tourism within South Africa. Whenever people tour, you end up with rental cars. And with that recovering, it'll potentially be an interesting new listing on the exchange middle of December.
Yeah, we'll watch out closely for that one. Well, thanks very much indeed, Brian Thomas, the portfolio manager at Laurium Capital.